Good afternoon, YouTubers. This is Kyle from Herpetoculture Shot coming to you today from the Milwaukee area for the first time in 4K. So if you have any kind of monitor that supports 4K, go down into the lower right and select the gearbox or the cog wheel and select 4K so you can see all the pixels I have to share with you today. So the point of the video today is very simple. It's going to be short and sweet. I just wanted to tell you a little bit about myself and just kind of describe my snake collection and discuss a couple of differences between BCIs and BCCs, or boa constrictor imperators and boa constrictor constrictors. I'm going to use those acronyms from now on, so that's what they mean. In front of me here is Zeus. She is one of my BCIs, commonly called Colombian boa or common boa, a non-red tail. I don't mean that with any disrespect to the subspecies. It simply means that it's not a true red tail. You'll notice the tail is reddish, but it's more of like a burnt amber kind of, it's a perfect way to describe it, a burnt amber or rust color instead of being blood red. So I have one other normal BCI, and that would be Miranda. She is just like Zeus, but much younger, much smaller. She's just a little baby still. Apart from that, I have one hypo BCI. Hypo meaning hypomelanistic, or short of melanin. What that simply means is that her body or her skin lacks the proper amount of melanin. So if you look at Zeus's body here, you'll notice that amidst all of this kind of clay or brown color, there is actually black in there. But if you were to remove that black from Zeus's skin, you'd actually see that she would turn a bit orange, even more of a stronger clay color. You could call it salmon, is a common way of describing it. So that would be Isabella. So moving on from there, I have a Dumeril's boa. Now, that's a ground boa from Madagascar, not to be confused with a Madagascar ground boa, which looks very similar. Much more rare and much more expensive boa with different coloration. I've seen a couple of those on YouTube, and they're very beautiful snakes. Maybe someday I will own one. We'll see how that works out. Apart from that, I have two BCCs, Suriname boas. Those are true red-tailed boas. They grow much larger than BCIs do, up to about 14 feet. That's about two of me at least. I'm about 6.5 feet tall. So I'm a tall glass of water, but that snake would be at least double me. So when they get full grown, generally that's a two-person handling snake. The snake does not generally pose a danger to you, but it's always recommended with full-grown boas that you have a second person there to help you handle it. If that snake decides to constrict, this is nothing but muscle. Very little fat on this body. She was actually constricting my hand before when she got comfortable, and not just a little bit, started to lose some feeling in my fingers. So they're stronger than they think they are, but they don't really pose an active threat to us per se. I haven't heard of anyone being killed by their pet snake. So there's a lot of people out there that are afraid of them. No need to be afraid of them. Just respect them, and they respect you. Apart from that, the very last snake that I have in my collection would be my ball python. That's the only python that I have. It's a butter morph that I acquired from the Tinley Park Reptile Expo. That's just outside Chicago. But a couple of years ago, I've put him in a couple videos already of slow motion strike and feeding. All of those videos that I do are going to feature dead mice. I'm not really too keen on putting an animal dying onto a video. Some people don't mind that. It's not something that I'm really going to do. So if that's what you're looking for, I'm not going to be really the channel for you. I'm featuring snakes in what they do. They are the perfect killing machine. When you look at them in the wild, they're designed to do exactly what they do, which is eat, sleep, breed. So they're very good at what they do, but I'm here to celebrate the beauty of how they act and how they function in captivity. So let's talk really quickly about the differences between BCIs and BCCs. I've seen one other really good video out there that actually discusses some of the differences. It does a pretty good job, but I'm going to give my concise version. Apart from size, BCCs will get much larger, like I said before, about 14 feet. On average, the female BCI maybe looking at about 8 to 10 feet. So, about 5 to 6 feet shorter on average. There are exceptional examples out there. 14 feet actually for a BCC would be an exceptional example. Apart from that, if you take a look at the saddle section here on the snake, there's a lot more saddles that you will actually see on a BCI. They're more closely packed together. There's a lot more of them. So if you see a snake just like Zeus here, who has them very close together and has a lot, you can pretty much guarantee that there is either it's a BCI or it has a strong amount of BCI in its blood if it's a hybrid between a BCC and a BCI, which is possible. Another thing that you will notice between BCCs and BCIs is BCIs often don't have the peaks on their saddles. What that means is if you take a look at this here, you'll notice that they just come together. There's this angle right there on the bottom. On a BCC, you would actually notice a little bit of like a widow's peak on there. Both of mine do. One has more exceptional examples. But just to show you, sometimes your BCIs can. Zeus actually does on the back of her neck here. I don't know if you can see that. There's a little bit of one there. A little bit of a peak up there. I'll put it in a future video. Actually, I have it in past videos so you can see. Apart from that, the biggest difference and the one that trade keepers actually notice the most is going to be in the tail. So let's take a look at Zeus's tail here. Let me get it unwound. You'll notice there that there's a lot of rust color going on in here. It's a burnt amber sort of color. It never really gets blood or fire engine red. That's what a BCC would. Like the other ones that I have from Suriname. You'll notice here too, with BCIs, I notice there's a lot more patterning inside the actual tail sections here. There's a lot more of this kind of cloudy striping or gradation going on in there. Whereas in my BCCs, it's generally just a little bit of a it's not so strong as that. It's a little bit more of a solid red with a little bit of purple coloration sometimes in there, but it's very gradual. Whereas here it's very marked. It's kind of like some peppering of color. So I want to thank Zeus here for being my example today, and I want to thank you guys for watching my video. I will post more soon. I'm not sure how many more like this I will do, but let us celebrate the beauty of the snake in captivity together, and we'll hopefully share our pets together along the way. Stay tuned for more from this channel, and I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. I know it's a little bit long-winded, but it's the only one like this that I want to do, so we'll get it out of the way, and we'll let you see who I am. So have a nice day, and keep sharing. Have a good one.